What is shaking, everyone? Hope you're doing well. Glad to be back in the seat here raging through the charts. We got a couple of so specials hit today. Pretty decent. Actually got one hit here, and also I believe it was that right there. Unreal. The so special kicking every day. So far looking pretty decent here. Looking pretty decent for the Bitcoin. We're above 98, which is great. And now we are heading towards the nasty 99 to 100K region. What's going on, Majid? Hey, Mike, how are you, sir? Hope all is well. What's going on, Jokerin? So yeah, pretty decent moves thus far. All right, it started to look a little bit sketchy over here, but London just took out its own lows and then continued back up on its merry way. So very decent looking move here so far. Let's zoom out a little bit. We're going to do a quick chat about a topic I didn't respond to in the Discord, but I saw people talking about it, and that is bias. Is it good to have bias, or is it bad to have bias? And then we'll talk about what's happening here. So before I start on the bias talk, let's get some likes going. Hit some likes. All right, so bias, it's like that old saying about opinions, right? You know what opinions are like. Everybody's got one. So it's not something you want to take too seriously, but you definitely need to have some sort of directional bias, right? So let's say you are trading let's say you're trading the 50 EMA, all right? Thank you, Crypto Yark. Yeah, good to see you, sir. Hope you're well. So if you're trading if you're a 50 EMA trader, let's say, right? You want to have a general idea of what's going on here. So let's say you look out on the daily chart and you see that price has broken the 50, it's closed below it, and now we keep wicking off it, right? So if you're looking on a daily time frame, as long as this is below the 50, you know, your bias is going to be looking more for shorts, right? And then you whittle it on down, check out the 4 hour. So you can be hitting all of these trades here off of the 4 hour, looking for shorts. When you get down to the 1 hour, it starts to get a little bit different, right? So the bias on the daily is sort of down, right? And on the 1 hour, you can play it both ways. If price gets above that 50, you can be looking to trade it up, right? And that would be your bias because you're looking at some technical factor that's telling you. All right, you bring it down to the 3 minute and it's just going to be going all over the place. But if you're scalping, that's what you kind of want to use your bias for, right? So when we look at market structure, it's the same thing. If you're in bullish market structure, then your bias is going to be, you know, relatively bullish no matter what time frame you're on, right? So on the 3 minute here, we're obviously putting in a higher high here, a higher low. We break that, so we've got some confirmed bullish market structure. So your bias should be relatively bullish, right? Now that doesn't mean it's not going to turn around real quick. So that's the danger with the bias, is we can't hold on to it. All right, you can't be overly biased to one direction or not, and that's really the killer. So it's always good to look at the bigger picture when you start trading for the day. What's the overall sentiment? What's market structure looking at, right? Now that does not mean that you're not going to counter trend trade, right? So for example, let's take it out to the 15. All right, we were looking at this low here yesterday. Everybody was chatting about it in the old Discord. right? We've got a golden pocket here. Everybody was pretty aware of it. McCall brought it up. So McCool, sorry, Mr. Joshi. So we hit into it and where you're trading below the 50, right? And you do have bearish market structure, but you're looking to potentially trade that back up, right? So you've got a couple options. You can hope and pray that this is a V-shaped recovery, get in early, or you can wait for it to come back down, give you some sort of confirmation, puts in a higher high here and keeps going, right? So there's nothing really scientific about it, but it's just a directional sort of idea that you have to be real quick to let go of it, right? So price comes up, we have not even come close to breaking the high of that, and we're not even close to forming more of a bias off of this until we can break this level here, right? If we can get above this 382, hold it as support, then our bias will continue to be sort of bullish, right? But is that going to happen, right? Who knows? So once you start to see this, right, you've bounced off a golden pocket, you come up, you hit the 382 and you bounce off of it. Now your bias should start becoming relatively neutral. All right, we might come back down, retest the daily low here. It would make sense to maybe come down and test the Asia opening range or the open, something like that. Okay, so somewhere around here. It doesn't mean that you start thinking bearish automatically, because now it's just going to be neutral. If we start to bounce between these two levels, you're just going to be range bound, right? So it's pretty significant. All right, it's just like this. We're trading in a range. Is this bullish or bearish? It's just a range. So when it comes to the lows, you look for longs. When it comes to the highs, you look for shorts, and you just trade the range. So that's your bias right now, is we're range bound, right? So it's not overly difficult or complicated, right? But yeah, if you are stuck in a bias, that's no good. You have to be able to let go of your bias really quick. So bias is a bit of a negative word, I guess, right? I would say maybe a sentiment, right? Just kind of be on board with the overall sentiment and you'll be fine. And then remember that sentiment oftentimes gets a little bit weird. So for example, when we're up here at these highs, everybody's real bullish for some reason, but you're just trading in a range. So same thing at the lows, everybody's very bearish, but you're just trading in a range. So that's it for that. So let's take a peek here at what we got going on. Overall, we are now hitting into that 382 on the daily chart, all right? And we've also got the dreaded 50 EMA here. So a bit of a tough spot for the bit. We got to get over this hump, all right? And if it rejects here, it is a big sign of weakness, but we've already rejected off of it a few times, all right? And we're taking another stab at it. So far, I would have to say that this looks pretty decent. We generally, when you get a rejection off the 382, it's going to be pretty intense, right? But we came back up, front ran this golden pocket, broke below the 382, and now we keep retesting it. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Hopefully we can get over this hump today. We don't have to, but it's starting to look decent. All right, we've got all of this indecision in the market here, just wicking up, wicking down. Looks like we're putting in a pretty decent move. We've swept the Friday low. All right, so we're most likely not going to go up to this Friday high today, where we won't get up to 100K. But as long as we can stay relatively bullish, we can look for that tomorrow maybe. So let me just get rid of this 50 EMA here. And I'll get rid of this fib as well. Let's take a peek at some volume profile here. All right, so a couple real key things have happened. This point of control, it hit, it rejected quite hard, and now we've taken it and we are moving on up. So in terms of volume profile here, there's not that much until we get up into this 99 zone again. All right. So that's the big volume zone I'd be looking for, right? 99,500-ish. But again, we've accomplished quite a bit today already. I know that a lot of people look at the previous day's levels as this, and you can kind of incorporate that idea as well. So as far as Sunday is concerned, we've taken that high. But if we look at the closing range of the week, we've come down, swept the closing range low, and now gone. If I would be to trade today, 80% setup, should I use Friday? Yes, that's what I would do personally. Absolutely. I don't pay attention to the weekend, so this is almost like it doesn't exist for me. I really don't pay it no mind. If you can see here, this point of control, price, hold on a second. Yeah, you would have suffered. I mean, if you had gotten in here, you would have been suffering quite a bit on that big pullback. You would have actually got stopped out, guaranteed. But as far as it goes from this point on, gets accepted on this candle, closes here. Yeah, but I would be very careful with 80% setups on Mondays. Very, very, very cautious about them, all right? Especially if you look, you know, I'm not saying to completely negate Sunday. You know, you can obviously see that there's some pretty good volume traded in here. So I would be a little bit aware of this D shape here, right? Where price might just come up, sweep this high, or run into it, but there's not much here. There's no selling tail or anything. So you'd be expecting a bit of a sweep and then come back down. Do you use the money flow indicator? Yeah. Yeah, by money flow indicator, do you mean the Trading Academy indicator or the actual money flow indicator? Like money flow index, you mean? I use the so I kind of try to, when I trade stuff, it has to make sense to me. So any indicators that I use or any TA that I use, I just have to make it make sense to me, right? I don't really use other people's theories for the most part, unless I see something and it's just so dead on. But yeah, I use it, full-time killer. I like to scalp with it, especially alts. We can talk about ADA if you wish. I'll give you a quick peek. Let me get rid of this. Well, no, I'll keep it on since it's part of it. Okay, so I can explain something that I do with it. This is not the end all and be all of this, but one thing I really like about it is the deltas. All right, I love that feature in it, and that's one of the things I really look for in it. So again, that's the yellow, right? So I really love this little gizmo here. It's quite fantastic. So I do kind of use it inter time frame as well, but if I'm scalping, I'm really just looking for 1 minute opportunities, right? And I do like to use the 20 EMA when I'm scalping if I'm trying to catch turnarounds. All right, so this is one thing. I'm not sure if Crypto Viking has gone over this or if he does this actually, because I've never heard him talk about this like this. So again, you want to have some sort of level. Okay, if we look here, we've got this, well, we'll take it down to the 15 just to get that sorted out here. You've got this high volume node here. Price closed very low on the day, and it's a P formation. I know that this is Sunday, so I'm not bearing it too much mind. What's going on, Funky Pants? All right, we've got a nice volume node here, a little guy here, and there you go. All right, so when I woke up, price was around here. Well, when I got on the charts, price was around here, so I'm not trading that. It's just in the middle of nowhere. And as price starts to climb up, I start looking for a bit of a short opportunity. All right, maybe into this high volume node, maybe into this little hit here, or maybe a sweep of the previous day's value area high. No, I don't drink coffee and chart. No, I drink my coffee. I have a morning ritual. It takes me about an hour and a half to get through. And then I have my coffee, relax. And then I get on the charts, usually around 7:30 or so. F is short. All right, that ain't a bad idea. I would have to say it's not a bad idea. Okay, so I know that this is a relatively interesting zone. If we look back, we've also got some interesting zones here. Okay, and there's some generally interesting market structure around this zone where you can see some hits here. All right, so pretty interesting spot here for me. And then on the lower time frame, all right, price starts to approach. Okay, so the first thing I'm really looking for are those div signals. Right, you want to start getting divs going. So right here, you start getting the divs. All right, but as money flow is still good, I'm not really looking to get in on anything. I want to see just a little bit of a sign from the money flow, all right? So the money flow is the green, right? And as price starts to come back up, you see that money flow is still pretty decent. And I use, like all you guys know, the stuff I use, right? I'm looking for fair value gaps. I'm looking for order blocks. I'm looking for sweeps of highs, right? So I'm still using all those things that I look for levels. And as price starts to come into this zone here, you start to see that money flow is really starting to now curve down, right? So when I see this, then what I wait for is a new peak on the delta, right? Or on the RSI, however you want to call it, but it's the delta, right? And that's what I really look for, right? You get that little peak there and you get that bearish engulfing. All right, this is a great hip, high inflection point. You've got a little bit of a shooting star there. So that for me is the entry, and then stop loss has to go above the high, right? And if you get real cheeky about your stop loss and you get stopped out, it gives you the next opportunity right here on this candle. So it gives you another little peak up here, although now money flow is starting to come back in, so it might freak you out a little bit. But as long as you're hopping in on these local highs, right? Because remember, this is the local sort of area, right? So when you're scalping and you're at a decent level and you get a high and then it starts to turn back down and you get a good signal candle, that's the way I use this, right? So it's not like, you know, I'm not looking at it on 7 different time frames and doing all that stuff, because I'll use other things for up down sort of analysis. So that's kind of how I do it. I hope that makes sense. So find the levels, see that money flow starting to go, you've got dips happening, and then you start to look for those little local tops that you can take advantage of, and they're generally very safe entries. All right, this one was good, but not as good as this one. That one was quite nice. And again, you've got your hip here. It actually gets broken on this candle. So when this candle started ripping, you could have got in there. And it's on ADA, so they're very decent sized moves. I don't do this on Bitcoin, but pretty big stop loss. I mean, pretty big enough. Whoa. 0.47. All right, and then what you do is you just target whatever market structure makes sense to you. All right, this is a perfect low for me because it's right around that level where I like to start to look to take profit. So hits, and then you're just gonna look at other market structure, all right? Low there, low there, low there, hitting take profits as you go. And then it helps you get out of the trade if you want to hold it for too long. Or obviously, again, in bullish market structure on the higher time frames, well, higher time frames, not overly higher, but you know, yesterday we put in a low, today we are putting in higher highs, all right, and higher lows. So it's not like I'm feeling aggressively bullish on it. Sorry, aggressively bearish on it, but I do like scalping ADA. I love scalping ADA. It's a great little coin. Very sort of chilled out, doesn't move like I was looking at BNX today. Holy what, that's a nightmare. So as price comes down towards this level, this wasn't the point of control at the time, but you've got this raging sort of money flow to the downside, right? So when you get into the trade, you get this sort of idea, then price starts to move back up. This doesn't really bother me too much. What I like to see is like excessive sort of things like this. This is kind of ridiculous here, right? And so is this. This is a lot of money leaving and people start to get bearish, and then you start to see they're not great divs here, all right, but you do start to see that momentum is starting to wave up the other way. And then you can start looking for either those local bottoms, right, to hop in on when you get a good signal, or you can close out that trade, right? Because now it's just getting excessive, right? So as long as it's reasonable moves, then I'm good with that. But you'll see that once one price, and this is just something I've noticed, so don't take this as gospel here. But you see this, right? Like it's just too excessive, right? So you see people doing the wrong things here. Trap volume, then you start rounding off at the bottom, all right? When I see that, I start getting ready for the turnaround, right? And then once you see it really starts to push up, you can look again for those local bottoms here, 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 and you can start trying to really get in, incorporate an EMA with it if you wish, whatever makes you feel more secure. All right, so that is one way I use it and scalp with it. So I don't think Crypto Viking teaches that. I don't even think he does it, but the best thing to do with this stuff is to like make it make sense to you. All right, everything. So look at how Crypto Viking explains it. Look at this explanation I'm giving you, and then watch it. See if there's maybe a tweak you can make. See if there's some sort of dynamic support resistance you can add. Maybe use it with a VWAP, or if you want to use it with horizontals, that's fine too, right? Previous days levels, that sort of thing. It's very, very helpful with all of this. In fact, if we look here, so, oh, that's not right, is it? No. There's something funny going on here. That's the funny part. Da 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 da. Dee dee doo. You're welcome, Fun Time Killer. Anytime, brother. Anytime. Okay, so here we've got a big push up above the daily open, right? So that's always a great place to be looking to get involved in a trade, right? Whether you break away from it to the downside, look for shorts. If you break up, look for longs. In crypto, again, this is your previous day's close, right? So remember Paul Tudor Jones, make yesterday's close your entry. All right, so you're not going to always get off that easy, so they won't make it that easy, right? But you see that price rips up, it then comes down, and you can start again looking for these little micro bottoms here to see if you can get in, and you'll start to see divs on them. Also love to see that divs on the delta lines there. Fantastic. And it's just all in the 1 minute, right? So as long as you're incorporating good levels and you've got that sort of scalper's mindset, right, you can get in there. So this is obviously a no trade. Can't trade that because that candle is not doing anything. This candle starts to look a lot more promising. That is a nice bullish candle. And then this one rips up, closes above that, that 20 EMA, and you can hop on in there. All right, you're going to be riding it up maybe to here. So you got to make sure that it is viable for you. That's pretty much 0.5%. So for me, that'd be decent. And then be looking for that high for your next take profit. Keeping in mind, you know, all the other factors, everything, that means everything. Stop loss, you could put just below that candle, and then you can move out to like the 5 minute chart. And look to see what's happening on that 20 EMA. All right, so in this case, you got that pullback here. You've hopped in, you're still trading above the 20, then price comes back into that 20. All right, so just confirm that you're kind of in the right place at the right time, moving out a little bit. You can also look at other factors, right? So yeah, I do like to use it. It's very useful. Like, a lot of people don't like these indicators because they think there's too much info in them, in the sense that they will make you take trades. So that's the problem with this stuff, is a lot of people will look at this and just think about signals from them, right? But the signals don't come from this. It comes from kind of your TA and what sort of levels you're looking at, right? So again, once you're trading above the daily open, generally longs are in play. If you're trading below it, shorts are in play. Just like the VWAP, if you're trading above the VWAP, you can be looking for long signals because it's giving you that extra layer of confluence already. Trading above the VWAP generally means that you're looking bullish, right? So that's it. Let's take a quick peek here at our good friend, the NASDAQ. My sweet, sweet NASDAQ. So fantastic trade yesterday off the open. Gap down, rips, and then starts pumping back up. I got in at right there, 448, just thinking about a quick scalp here, and then it just ripped very quickly, was up 50 points. And then it just kept going and just kept going. So by the time I went to sleep, I had 3 take profits in place. And when I woke up, my last contract was in insane amounts of profit. And then the beautiful thing here was the London Open. All right, so I was watching London Open thinking I'm gonna have to close it out. I had my stop loss in a very good profit, but London opening candle gives a good pump, breaks the range, comes back into it. So I started thinking, it's gonna be time. It's gonna be time, but this wick gave me hope. All right, we can all imagine what's coming next. All right, started looking at that. Really, like it was a bit tempting for me to add like a maniac here, because I had so much profit. I was basically like 250 points up by the time that this hit, and was really tempted to go in on like a little bit of a YOLO because I really, it would have been very difficult for me to lose money on the YOLO, but I didn't do it. I was responsible, acted like a professional. And then later I was thinking, yeah, should have YOLO'd, but no, never YOLO. It's not good. All right. But yeah, good old London. And then we took out the Asia high. Oh, market's open. Took out the Asia high and got this quick dump back in, and then it just kept on going. So that was real nice. Once that happened, I was very happy, and then just let it kind of wiggle away, do what it's going to do. All right, so we got New York coming in on the quick dump here. There is our pre-market low. There's our pre-market high. Let's see what's going to happen with that. Bitcoin. What do we got here? All right, Bitcoin sitting on that Asia high right now. Very good. Very good to see New York opening range. Yeah, baby, if it includes the Asia high, that is good news so far. Very good news. So we gotta just be a little bit careful here. We are hitting into pretty decent resistance up here at 98, right? So even if New York starts to pump this, it could just be going out for the pre-market high here. You up 6 every morning? Yep, absolutely. I'm up at 6 every morning. And without an alarm clock, Marius. Haven't used an alarm clock in years and years, but yeah, I wake up very nice. Very nice. Sorry, I was half reading Funky Pants. There was a nice wick. But yeah, I wake up very early. I am an early bird. Yeah, we do have that wick up there. So this is a very, very nasty wick here. All right, luckily it is in a bit of a washed zone here. So lots of wicks up though. So you can see a really big selling pressure. If you look at these, pretty much, I mean, all these candles here, but from Friday evening's dump, that's where you started getting a lot of sell pressure there. And then finally the bulls just gave in and the bears moved it on down. Yeah, this 98,340. Yeah, like it's all around here, right? I'm on the half-hour chart, so but we're looking at the same sort of thing here, guaranteed. Pardon me. So yeah, that'll be this whole zone's going to be pretty tough to beat, right? We've gotten past this little guy here, but there's a lot of selling pressure down there. A lot of selling pressure. We also hit into the golden pocket too, right? But first we hit into the sauce, the special sauce, baby. But yeah, we're you know, we're running into it right now, ladies and gentlemen. We are running into it. But I think it's okay. We've you know, we swept the previous day's low. I don't think we're gonna get too much higher today. I could be completely wrong on that. I know that My thumbnail depicts a bull in a cockpit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Our flight today will take us to the moon. We'll be cruising at an altitude that's ridiculously high. So I do feel relatively bullish about Bitcoin. All right, we are trading in a range. We've gone to the bottom of the range, and now we really need to go test the highs. So in that sense, I'm bullish, right? But I'm still quite aware that we're just trading in a range. So overall, I'm relatively neutral. When we start approaching the highs, I'm not going to be thinking, YOLO, none of that stuff. But we are running into it right now. So quick little pit stop here at the golden pocket. And then we're going to have golden pockets from all of these highs riding on up, right? But right now, just getting stuck up in this little local golden pocket. Yeah, so no big deal. No big deal if we take a peek here at this fib once again. Also brings us onto that 382 level there. Okay, so yeah, no. Yeah, no, we got to get it. So especially since we hit off of this golden pocket, now trading into that 382, we've got to break this, but it's going to be tough, right? That's all there is to it. And that's fine. That's the way it goes, right? So just relax. If you caught that long from yesterday off the Asia Open, all right, and a little bit later on, just relax. Everything's fine. Make sure you have your stop loss and decent profit. Make sure you've taken profit. And settle down for the ride. We could definitely be coming back down to test these lows here again. Go back into that sort of golden pocket. Give it a second little shove there. So that's a definite possibility, all right? Let's take it back to the one and just check out this opening range here. Over, under. Now let's get back over. Bitcoin, you can do this. Swept the pre-market low now. And we're hitting into the London opening range, which has been quite tough so far today, all right? So it's held up pretty nice. Let's take a quick peek at the NASDAQ. Wow, pre-market low holds on the NASDAQ to the dollar. Now leaving fair value gap here, so that's pretty cute. That's pretty cute. Oh, got the 0.5 and the golden pocket in there. Oh, yeah. That's lovely. That is absolutely lovely. Let's get back to the bit real quick here. Lose in the London opening range. And let's just check out what's happening in general here. All right, so XPX up 22 points. NASDAQ up 180 points. Oh, it gapped up. It gapped up like a mother. Holy. DAX up 100 points. Dow Jones up 113. They got here VIX looking down. That's nice. 16. Yeah, that's all right. Dixie looks like it could get problematic. A little bit on the upside there. That's pretty decent for the Dixie. Amazon up, Apple up. Nothing spectacular. Look at Alibaba go. Oh. Ooh. Good old Home Depot ripping it. Oh, look at that. Up 2.5%, MicroStrategy. Good old MicroStrategy. So everything's looking pretty decent, I would have to say. Don't like seeing Tata down 1.5%, but Tesla's still not looking great. All right. Gold continues to rip. Only 95 bucks away from that coveted $3,000 mark now. I'm going to be a maxi now and say gold 3,000 by the end of the week. I'm kidding. Don't quote me on that. Total joke. All right, so let's see what's going on here. So if we're trading sessions, right, we got to think about this right now is going to be our first target. If this zone breaks, going to be looking for New York to come and take out London. All right, if it wants to take out Asia, it's going to have to come a very, very far ways down. London lows to take. Yeah, definitely, potentially crypto yard. So that would be the first thing on our mind, right? The London lows, if it's going to take them. This is already quite a bit of liquidity here, potentially. Let's take a look at volume. Non-existent. All right, so not much happening there. That low starts to look a little bit better. So these lows might be more in line with what we're going to grab. But again, got to start with that London low. So it looks like that's where we're headed. We've now closed below the London opening range. But New York is pretty chilled out. You know, it didn't open on much volume. Then all of a sudden it starts putting in the monster volume to the downside. Take a peek at, yeah. Love that setup, man. So that again is one of my favorite New York open setups. I also any open really. Asia is a little bit different, but you know, you've got that push up, you leave that fair value gap, you've got 0.5 in a golden pocket in it, pulls back into that 0.5, you get a quick 24-point scalp just off of that 0.5, and then come back, test it again, another 20 points. Starts making me think about Michael Jackson screams. Yeah. All right. London looking motivated. Sorry, London. New York sweeps the pre-market high. Always good news. The low held. Now we swept the high. You might get another little pullback, maybe hit into this golden pocket, which is no longer a golden pocket. I understand that, but it still is a golden pocket as far as the open is concerned. Let's see how that goes. Let's get back here to the old bit, trying to get back into this opening London range. Let's see how this goes. So, you know, best case scenario for today, for me, is a retest of the daily open. All right, we come down and test that. See if you can hop in on a long to the upside. I would love to see that. Would love that, actually. That would be fantastic. And you can see here, you'd be coming right into that wick sort of idea. Support, resistance, support, 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 resistance. Yeah, it's a decent looking zone. I know it's just a 1 minute time frame, but it's a lot of quick hits into it. That would be the best case scenario for me, because then you're getting a decent pullback, and you can go chat disconnected. What happened there? Doesn't make any kind of sense. While you disconnected my chat, YouTube, then connected again. All right, come on. Back into that pre-market range and above that Asia high. You could do this, Bitcoin. You could do this, but these are the situations that I start getting a little bit sketched out by. All right, we obviously could have come up, taken the pre-market open in this London high, right? Didn't do that. We come down. We don't really take too much out of London, just this. And then we start moving back up. A little bit of a hard read here. Almost starts to feel like they're rope-a-doping somebody. All right, low, high, low, high, low. Bit of a ugly two-legged pullback here. What is going on here with my internet? Wow, chat being disconnected like mad. YouTube apparently says I've got an excellent connection. All right, guys, hit those likes. Join the Discord. Link is in the description. If you like what you see, join the channel. By joining, I mean subscribe. I don't have memberships for the channel. Don't really want to get into that whole can of worms with YouTube. So yeah. Yeah, that would be my best case scenario just for a quick day trade, all right? But remember, we are going to be in a very possible range here, all right? From right around this low here, yesterday's low, which did hit into that golden pocket into today's high, right? That's a very, very reasonable assumption to make there. All right, we don't need to come fully test these lows, but come back down into this zone, maybe sweep the current low of day. All right. Get back on the NASDAQ. I'll bring this out a little bit. These are my support resistance zones right now for the NASDAQ. I generally don't show those, but not out of privacy issues. Just very rarely do I go out on the 30-minute or 4-hour time frame on NASDAQ on YouTube, because nobody's that interested in it. But that'd be them. That'd be them. And we're running right into cleaning out a fair value gap into resistance. It's a tough one for the NASDAQ. But I think New York can do it, man. I think New York can do it. All right, so that is pretty much where I think we stand right now. I don't think we need to do much more. Remember, too, we've got massive news coming out this week, and it only comes out on Wednesday. So it makes sense that things are a little bit chilled out until Wednesday. You know, we can still make pretty decent moves, but in a more relaxed sort of manner. And they might be pricing in some sort of a dump. They can push it to the upside, or a pump. They can push it to the downside. So always have to be aware of that. Remember that we're also just in Monday. So this is our opening range for the week, which right now has swept the closing range and come back into it. So very good sign. Very good sign. As long as we can close inside of Friday's range with a relatively bullish looking sort of day, like this would be fantastic. We could close up high with a high point of control. That would be a great look. You know, you can kind of start to see this pattern of points in control. As long as they're going lower and lower, you're looking lower and lower, right? Doesn't have to be that way, but a lot of times once the staircase starts down, it goes down, and then once it starts going up, you know, one day is not really a great confirmation, but hopefully we can start pulling that off. All right. So yeah, ranging between 98-ish, 98-ish and 95-ish, 94-ish. All right, 94.8-ish. It could be what's in the cards for the rest of the day, or it could even last until tomorrow. Let's see how this plays out. All right, I would really like to see a move to the upside for today, though. A little bit further up would be great. If we look at Friday, all right, you've got a long ways to go here. Yeah, P day so far for sure, but it doesn't mean much while it's developing, right? So far P day doesn't look like it's going to be a thin day, so I don't think it's going to trend much higher. And now let's just hope it doesn't come down and start filling in this zone and dropping that point of control to the center of the day. We don't end up with a D shape, because if we end up with a D shape, which in all honesty is a high probability, I would say. High probability. We got one on Sunday. We had one on Friday. We've swept the Friday low. Right. The problem with Friday is that it was a huge rotation. So a very big day. Let's see here, from 100K down to 95.5, right? So pretty close to $5,000. That's a big day for that massive rotation. So even though we've swept the balance days low, it's going to be real tough to come up and challenge these highs. I'm not saying we can't do it. We might, but I would imagine that would be sort of tomorrow's business. Yeah, that's what I would imagine. Could be wrong, but yeah, this would be great to close off with a nice high point of control, and price close up around the point of control would be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. But let's see how she plays out. Yeah, if we do get a balanced day, that ain't bad either, as long as we go to the downside first, hit the low, and then rotate back up. That would be all right. Would definitely be all right. All right. Yeah, so the only thing left to do here is smash those like buttons. Oh, sorry, just banged my mic. Apologize for that. Join the Discord. We do a lot of free sessions in there, in the lounges, available to everybody. You get all kinds of little tips and quirky secrets. Well, yeah, that's about it. That's about it for today, guys. Bit of a slow open here. But again, I think they're going to be relaxing a little bit until Wednesday, especially on the bit. NASDAQ's going to move pretty aggressively, I have a feeling, over today and tomorrow, and then get ready to move the other way on Wednesday when data comes out. But that's about it. All right, so you guys have a wonderful day. Stay safe, be well. I will see you in the Discord. I'll be on there in a very short while. I'm going to go have a early espresso, pre 3 o'clock espresso today, and then I will hop in the Discord, and maybe we'll do a little lounging and trading. All right. Peace out. Take care. Be safe, and see you tomorrow.